Once upon a time, two friends joined forces to bring you the best in horror entertainment. Brian from the north, Tim from the south, each bringing their own unique perspective to the horror community. Movie reviews, Blu-ray releases, beer pairings, games, and more. Welcome to your new home for horror. This is Civil Gore.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Civil Gore Podcast. I'm your host, Tim.
And this is Brian. It feels like a while since we had an episode, but you guys wouldn't have known that because we actually, for once, were so ahead of the game and we had
Yes.
episodes waiting to get released.
Yeah, it actually turned out we haven't actually recorded in a while, but it's
Yeah.
you've been getting regular episodes because we planned it that way, and we're actually much more organized for season 9,
Yeah, and
miraculously.
so we're hoping you really, with all the crazy things going on, like in our lives and stuff, it seems like we've found a way to avoid the the having to skip an episode, which is good. So hopefully we'll stay strong.
The Wednesday release thing has really helped too,
Yeah, I think
because
so.
we could record on Monday. It gives me plenty of time to even if we record the episode that week, it still gives me 2 full days or it gives me at least a full day to edit.
Yeah, I mean
And it,
this week we're a little late because of I had a dental appointment on Monday, and I really was like not in pain, but my mouth felt weird, and I didn't really want to like talk like with my mouth
no,
feeling
no,
weird.
no, no, no.
Yeah, well, it was thankfully it wasn't that bad. They didn't even give me Novocaine, but they put the new cap in. But still, like I was getting used to it, so
Yeah, I hate
I was
those.
like I was just like, oh, this is bothering me. I can't
I've
focus.
had
I'd
2
be like,
caps and I can't stand that when you first get it. You can't. It feels artificial or something. It feels weird. Yeah.
does, and
Uh,
this is my front tooth, so, like, see, you could see like, you
oh
haven't seen
yeah.
it yet, so you could see it's, like, actually, like, a full tooth now. Because remember my old cap that they replaced, like, kinda had, like, an etched it got etched away
Oh
from me
yeah.
grinding my teeth.
Yeah.
So he did a good job at this time, but it's kinda funny when I went in there and I was like I was expecting the Novocaine because he did it last time, but that was when he put the post in. So he goes the hygienist goes, "Nah, I don't think I need to," and I'm like she's like, "You sure?" She goes, "Yeah, but if it hurts, let me know." And then before I could say anything, she was, like, grabbing the thing and going and, like, she couldn't get it at first, so it just went this scraping sound. I'm just like, "Oh, that was not fun." But then she, on the second try, was able to yank it out pretty easily because it was a
Ah,
temporary cement.
I hate the
So,
dentist. It's never as bad as I expect, but I still hate it. I don't know.
no. Well, this guy, it's funny. I gotta have a funny thing. I was trying to look for a dentist, and Julie had recommended this place, and I'm looking up the names of the dentists there, and my dentist had a thing. He's like, on his free time, he likes video games and IPAs. I'm like, sold.
Yes, I'll take it.
Which is such a weird way to pick a dentist, but I'm glad I did. He's actually good because he listens, as Tim will tell you. Anyone that will sit there and listen to 500 paranoid questions from me
Oh, that's
gets
good.
a 5-star rating, and he does that. So, and the whole office is just super nice there. So it's like, and they're really like they'll like text me with stuff like if I need anything or a reminder. It's just really like a good place, and it's 5 minutes from me, so that's good.
Yeah, it's always good to find like a place you like. That's
Yeah,
how my
I
dentist
mean,
is.
like as a dentist is
Yeah,
you
that's
know
a
what I mean. But yeah,
relative term, but yeah,
yes. I mean, if you're gonna get a dentist, you might as well get one you feel a little comfortable with in there. So.
So we do have a good episode this week. We looked at the new Shudder Original Starve Acre, which I had no clue what it was about going in. Not a single clue. And boy, did I find out what it was about by the end of it.
Yeah,
But
all I knew is that it, like when you first mentioned it, I'm like, "What is that?" And you're like, "The new Shudder one." I'm like, "Oh yeah," because I had heard about like Morfydd Clark being in it because I liked her in Saint Maud.
yeah,
So I was like, oh, that's right. I heard about that. Yeah, that'll be good to do." But yeah, I didn't quite expect some of the things that happen in this movie, and especially because it was described as folk horror, which it
it
is.
is.
It's
It's
just
total
more
folk
modern
horror.
day one, so it took me aback when they're wearing like real clothes, and I'm like, "What's going on here?" But we'll definitely get into that movie and some of its idiosyncrasies, I guess.
Yes. I guess we'll start things off with our first chop. All right, so I only just had this one thing. So I'm going back to my In Search of project. And what this means is on Letterbox, some kind individual put a list of every movie. This is the list that I went. There's some list on there that lists every movie that was in Search of Darkness, covered in Search of Darkness. But this guy went a step further. He mentions every movie that was even a poster of. Like
Oh my
every
god.
movie that's in these 3 documentaries, that's the 3 80s ones, he listed, and it comes out to almost 700 titles.
Well, you have to understand too, this is for those who like, I don't know if you've been in a bubble or not listened to our show, but like literally they like, these documentaries are 6 hours a piece. So this guy combed through 18 hours of stuff and wrote down
Yeah,
every single thing he saw.
it's crazy. And some of these are hard to find. Like a lot of these movies are not available on streaming. You have to, or you can only rent them. They're not on like streaming services, or you'd have to literally go out and buy a DVD or a Blu-ray. So what I've been doing is, obviously I went through and I removed all the ones that I've already seen in past years, which was a good chunk of them. And that left me with roughly, I would say about 300, and I was about 300 that I had not seen. And so that
Could have
was
done the
my,
horror challenge just on those.
I
The
really could
things you
have. I honestly could have. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just list all these in a spreadsheet, and I'm gonna find out where they're streaming, and I'm gonna go through them. Obviously, I'm going for the ones that are easily available first. So if it's on, Tubi, or if it's on Shudder, obviously I'm gonna knock those out immediately. And then I'm marking the ones that I don't have any way to see, so that maybe at some point down the road I can look for a DVD or something. But that is my In Search of Darkness project that I'm going through. I'm not being very super serious about it, so I don't know that I'll have one of these every single week. But I just thought it'd be fun because I've been working on it a little bit at a time. And the movie I picked this week was Don't Go Near the Park from 1979. You say, well, 1979? What does that mean? I mean, I thought these were all 80s films. They actually mentioned some movies that were made outside of the 80s in passing. So that's where this one came from. And this one, I think, was in a segment where they talk about all the don't go in the house, don't go near the park, don't
Oh,
answer the
yeah.
phone type
Yeah, there was a
movies.
lot of don'ts back then.
Yeah. So don't go near the park. This is the weirdest movie. I will give them credit. I thought it was going to be like a slasher, like there's a slasher in the park, avoid the park kind of thing. It is nothing like that. It is some crazy, bizarre thing where these people, like, they're cursed, so they age super fast. But if they like kill somebody and rip open their stomach and eat their stomach, they like regain their youth, or so. I don't know. I didn't understand a word of this movie. It has some very questionable rapey moments. It has a scene where a kid tries to feel up a girl that he thought was dead. It's
Hmm.
very filled with really, really bad old age makeup. Uh, we had a fun little group chat going about it as I was watching this thing, but it's I can't recommend it, but at the same time, I have to give them credit for doing something completely quite frankly, creative in a time in which slashers were pretty. Uh, I don't know. I don't know if I even want to say that, because slashers became one dimensional, but I don't know that they really were in the early '80s. I think there was some good variety
No, yeah, they
there.
weren't because I think they tried to, when they were trying to invent themselves as a genre, they kinda had to have another selling point other than just, like, slice and dice, which it eventually became, but now I
Yeah,
feel like it's going back, like, it's kinda like it has these, like, I feel like it's like one of those bumpy roads where it's like, it
yeah.
has these sequences of stuff, and then there's themes to the slashers, and then, and then when Scream hit then there was this whole, "Oh,
It's like
let's
the
go back
meta
to the whodunit
slasher.
slashers for
Yeah,
sure," and multiple ones, and so I think there's definitely a lot of, lot of ebbs and flows of the genre where it's like but I feel like now it's at, like, kinda like that midpoint again with slashers where they're kind of at least getting, like, to, like, you know, like, we've had a lot of, like, different ones recently where they've, like, it's funny how, like, they they'll quickly, like, bring back, like, the holiday ones thrown in there, like Thanksgiving and
yeah.
Founder's Day, but then they'll have, like, Hard Eyes and stuff like that coming out, so it's like, where it's, like, technically, yes, it's kind of like a Valentine slashery at the time, but it's not it's still, like, there's more substance to these, you know?
And what was weird about this one, I couldn't quite figure out the tone, because it's got like these it's got a teenage girl in it and a kid, like an 8-year-old kid. So on one level, it's kind of almost family friendly. Like it kind of has the vibe of being kind of innocent, but at the same time, it has these horrible, like, rapey scenes and weird, sexual things that just do not belong with that age group. So I don't know. It was very very weird movie. So don't go near the park. I actually had to watch this one on YouTube. Somebody had posted
Uh,
the full movie because it's not available to stream or rent anywhere that I could find. So if you want to see that one, go check out YouTube before they yank it down. Of course, I don't know that anybody associated with this movie is like actively patrolling YouTube for illegal copies of it. It's not that
they
great.
probably forgot they did it, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Don't go near the park. 1979.
Yeah. So I have a couple things here. I don't know how yeah, I should go through it. There's one that's kind of a little off topic, but kind of matches with one of the movies I watched at the same time. So maybe I'll do that first movie first. And one of the things it's a movie we got the screener for, and it's out now on Hulu called Control Freak. Did you get to watch it yet, Tim?
No, I haven't watched this one yet.
Oh yeah, no, it's really good. There's a lot of good, a lot of gore in it. Basically, it's Kelly Marie Tran from that was a lot of people know, of course, now from Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. She, I just a quick side thing, like of course, she got a lot of notoriety, unfortunately, for something bad where they basically like bashed her on the internet and kind of bullied her right off the all the platforms, which I hate when that happens for someone that did nothing wrong other than star in a blockbuster movie that anyone would have taken, and because they didn't like her character, and it's just like I'm like, give me a break. First of all, I had no problem with the character or the actress. I think she's great. So but anyway, so she was really good in this. She plays this kind of like self-help, like motivational speaker kind of thing. And she, and the movie like kicks in right away. Like she basically has this like weird itch on the back of her head. Um, and but she's so busy, she has no time to deal with it. That guy, Dylan Miles, I think is his name, the one he was in the Halloween 2018 and Daniels at Real. You've seen him a million
Yeah,
times when you've
yeah,
seen him. But he he plays her boyfriend in it, and so she's playing a typical thing like this. She's so busy, she has no time to really like. Where she's giving all this motivational thing for everyone else, but she doesn't have time for herself. Kind of a thing where she really should be taking care of this itch on the back of her head, which it turns out she's had for a while now, and basically becomes there's a lot of body horror if you can imagine as she like tries to self. I guess treat the back of her head, and it just it's definitely not. There's definitely a squeamish factor for the people that like can't take like there's some people that just don't like like me with my eyeball things, or some people has such a thing where like skin peels off, or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So warning on that one. But other than that, it's actually really well done. She was great in it, and it's not too long. It's a nice pace. Like it kind of keeps moving. There's really not a lot of like slow points in it. So I definitely highly recommend that for because especially now that's on Hulu. We would have recorded last week. I would have there's the embargo kind of last ended last week. But I wanted to save it so I could discuss a little. I don't want to go into too much more of it because obviously a movie like this, the going in as blind as you can, other than the main premise is better. Um, but that leads me to like an off-topic thing before I get into some more on-topic things. And so I did everyone. Well, I don't know if everyone knows. I mean, I've mentioned how how things stress me out a lot, but like obviously with the way things have been going in the world as of late, the stress was just at like a crazy level for me. So friend of mine, Kara, who you've met, Tim,
Yeah.
met her at Carowinds that time. She was it was one of those days where like the news was just one thing bad after another. And so she's like, I can't, this is too much for me. I'm booking a float session. And I'm like, oh, what's that? And she goes, she says, oh no, it's just, and she got back and she told me, she's like, it's like one of those things where you get into one of those tanks and you like float in salt water. It's kind of like a sensory deprivation
Yeah, I
deal.
think they
But
have one here too.
yeah. Oh no, they're all over. They're huge now. Like athletes have them. Some athletes, the like the big rich ones, have them in their homes. Kind of a thing. And so she found one for me that's not too far away. So I asked Julie. I'm like, hey, do you have any interest in this? And she's like, yeah, kind of. I was interested in that. Now, me with all my OCD, it's amazing I was able to do this thing. But this place was kind of good because they kind of let you know that like their site has like the one of the best FAQ sections I've ever had. Like literally any question you could have was like covered in it. Um and so I was like wondering, like if like, would this, is this really gonna work? Because anyone that knows me knows I'm a bit high strung, to put it nicely. Right? And like, so going into this place that's like super zen, like you walk in and it's like they want you to keep it like, if you're talking like very whisper, it's like a quiet zone place. You have to take your shoes off when you get to the front and you go in there and like, not, I don't know if all of them are like this. This one
Yeah.
is like kind of foofy a little bit, but it's okay. But I just didn't think I was going to be able to like one, like, keep my mouth voice down low enough for them, but I think I did a good job. They picked up on it, and then they kinda get you in there, and so it's neat because you get your everyone there. I think there's, like, 6 rooms, and each room has, like, the pod in it, has, like, every amenity you need for it, like the hearing, not the hearing aids, I said hearing aids, the,
Huh.
ear, what do you call those, oh my god, I'm forgetting the word. Where, the,
Earplugs?
earplugs, thank you. Like the earplugs to put in because, your head could go deep into the water and they tell you like, if you don't have that, it could go in and you gotta rinse it out. But you go in, there's a full like there's a shower. They want you to take a shower before to get the body oils off, And they kind of give you some tips that like, don't drink caffeine for the last like few hours before, and kind of mentally prepare yourself to wind down because, if you want to do that full sensory deprivation thing, you don't wanna go in like me normally. It's like it was good. I made sure it was like 7:30, so it was after work by a good few hours, and I could unwind a little bit and go there. And, so, they walk you in and they basically tell you, like, it's cool because you could, like you could either leave the pod open if you want, if you're claustrophobic, you still get the benefits of the float part. Um, Inside, you could basically turn the lights off in the room, so it's just a slight light, so you're not pitch black, so you you can walk, there's like a little glow in the back of the room, so you can kinda see what's going on. And inside the pod, actually, there's a button that you can hit, and you can either get a blue light on, or if you tap it twice or something, it'll be like a rainbow, like a gentle rainbow of colors going on.
Oh.
So it's like that. So I'm like, "You know what? I'm gonna try and" I meant to do that. I was gonna try the full sensory deprivation, but by accident, I couldn't see the bag to open the little stupid, earplugs. So I turned the light back on slightly. And when I mean light, it's like an orange glow light. It's not like this
Yeah.
spotlight on you. But the thing is, you do see it as a slight little, like, crack coming through the pod, of the light, but it was still okay. It was still pretty dark in there. Like like, you're still feeling for the walls, and it's kind of funny because like I couldn't. She told it's the people there like know it so well because she's like, okay, but while the music's playing in the beginning, you want to like really kind of move your arm around, find a comfortable position if you want to just kind of be in that non-motion as long as you can. But for me, for some reason, I don't know why, like no matter what I did, I'd still float a little bit. So sometimes I'd float back and I'd feel that my head touch the back of the thing a little bit.
Is
You
the
don't
water
go down.
heated? Like, is it
Well, yes, that's the thing. The water is like set to your average body temperature. So after you're out of
Oh,
your shower, you walk in and it's like you don't notice a difference. It's actually like you get in, you don't even notice that it's warm or hot because it's at like 95 or something. So it's like right at your body temperature. So when you come out of the shower and everything, it's like this seamless transition, which is kind
oh,
of
that's cool.
crazy to think about it. Yeah, and it's something that you don't even realize because I was like, "Okay, I hope it's nice and warm in there." But I stepped in not even realizing that. It was until, like, hours later till Julie had said something, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you know what? The water was kind of, like, at such a weird temperature that I didn't notice it was hot or cold because it was essentially my body temperature." So it's really weird how they do it. But so, you get in, you try and, get sorted out. So once I got used to it, then I turned the thing off and went into the to true float, and it's weird. So I was like, thought I was gonna fall asleep. It takes a little bit to get used to because, to finally get, to get your mind to think of like nothing is hard. But what happened is after a few minutes, I noticed like if a thought popped into my head, they say to like acknowledge it and then it kind of just goes away. So it's kind of interesting. So you end up getting this total like float where you're in there, and at some points like if like I start to really get like so relaxed at one point. I swear to god, I'm not trying to exaggerate or make it sound like cheesy, but like it felt at one point as I floated like right through the wall of the pod and was just like floating in like this nowhere space. I couldn't keep it the whole way because I think what happened, eventually just like either like a splash will happen of your foot or a slight body
It kind of
tingle do
snaps
it.
you back out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but they said it takes about like 3 times to finally really get your groove to where you're you can get it done perfectly. You can go right in there and lay down and you'll be within a minute you're like into the zen space. And it's funny because the one thing is I have to like, and I don't know how I could ever turn it off because I've never been able to, is I have a mental alarm with time. So it's like almost all the time I will never get woken up by my actual alarm clock. It's like a
Oh, I'm the
minute
same
before.
way. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't use an alarm at all, ever.
right. So it's like I have it as a backup just in case. It's more of an emergency kind of thing, or some to kind of like sometimes I'll wake up and I'll just get lost in thought and then forget that it's time to where I have to go, so it's like, I'm like, "Okay, well, let me just have the alarm as a set anything." But in here, so what happens is after an hour, about a few minutes left, the music starts to come on softly again to play, and that's when you're kinda supposed to get up and get out, open it up and leave because if you don't, what happens is the sanitizing thing starts, and it's like this loudest jacuzzi you've ever heard in your life. Because when I was in the shower afterwards, it was you could see it, and you hear it going, and it's not like I don't think it would harm you in any way. It's just it sanitizes you because there's something like 1,200 like things of I don't know. I don't think it's pounds is the right word, but it's ounce or something of the salt. So it's like it's impossible for you to not float. Like Julie can't float in normal water. But she's
Yeah.
like so she was, like, convinced she was gonna sink to the bottom, but you don't. It's impossible to, and that's another thing that takes a little bit getting used to because your initial thing is to, like, hold yourself up into a float position. So
Right,
it's like
yeah.
it's hard to convince yourself that for years of you going in the water, if you don't consciously do something to float, you're gonna sink. So that took a few minutes to get used to, but I'll tell you, so when I came out, I was like, Julie got a little nauseous, and I read that the reason why some people get nauseous, if you have a really heightened level of sensitiveness to stimuli, like how Julie notices everything.
Mhm.
So like she noticed every little thing going on in there. So they say like after your initial time, some people do get like a little bit of nausea. I didn't get that. I was fine. And when I came out, I was just like I was so relaxed. And it's like every part of my body felt like that warm, fuzzy feeling, like, it was like no muscle hurt, no my mind was, like, relaxed, and it's like and it lasts for, like, days, the effects of like, the mental relaxation, it's crazy because the next morning I got upset with something, but, like, I realized I'm like, "Wait a minute, I'm not actually upset, this is just what I usually get upset with," and so I was able to say, "Oh, that's not that bad," and like that, it was gone.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah,
cool.
so I mean, at this point, I'm at the point where it's like I kinda wanna go like, I wanna go again already, but what I did is I signed up for this good deal, it was $99, um, for the membership, and you pay it once a month, and that gets you 1 float, but th they had a deal going on, so it was a special thing where if you sign up then, you get an automatic free extra float and a gift card to give someone, so that's what I gave to Julie, so hers was free.
Oh, cool,
And
yeah.
yeah, and if you decide you want more than 1 and you buy 2, I guess, in a certain period, they throw another free one in there. So, for $99, you say like, "Oh, that's a lot," but, like, I really was shocked at the benefits. I did not think someone like me was it would able to get those kind of benefits from it. But I, like, have been recommending it to everybody who will listen to me now, like, that they should do that if they want some relaxation and give it a try because, definitely research the place you want because I saw there's different types of tanks in there. Like, I think like, the one I got, like, I don't know if there's a specific name for it or not, but it's definitely one of those tanks where it's like, oh, it's a place where you could tell it's like it's just a float place. Like there's other places where it's like a spa and you could do this and that and this and a massage or this. But I went the place I called is literally called Float Station. So in Campbell, California, there for anyone in my California listeners there, it's in there and it's like it's just it really is something that like if you give it a try and I see Groupon all the time offering ones to other places. So it's definitely
Oh, I'll have
something
to
that
try that
give it a
sometime
try.
because yeah, we
Yeah, no,
definitely
I
have
think
one here.
yeah, no, I think you guys would like it because especially it's I mean, you can make it like a little fun date night if you want, you go there, get a little float in and then and then go have dinner or something. You know, it's
Yeah.
because you don't want to eat like before. They say too. That's another thing. They say that they said eat a light snack because you one don't want to be sitting there with like a full stomach in there and your stomach processing things,
Yeah.
and you also don't want it growling because you're starving. So you know, there's definitely a lot like this. That's
It's a
what I
lot
loved
goes
about
in.
this
Yeah.
place. Yeah, because they kind of told you everything you need to know. Like I was so prepared in there, and I'm like, I can't wait to go back. I think I'm gonna save it for the month when we're trying to, you know, relocate the houses, so I can at least, you know, I'll be moving stuff and lifting stuff. My body's gonna be all wrecked. I'm like, that's when I'm gonna use my free float in there. I might go a couple times a month for there, but yeah. So that's definitely. I know it's way off topic,
No, that's cool because I've
but
never heard anybody that's actually done it. So that was a good
yeah,
review.
well, like, I didn't you know, I've, like, heard kind of people mention it, you know, and, like, I remember there was the episode of Big Bang Theory where Sheldon and Amy did it,
Yeah,
but
that
that's
one
like
was
those
hilarious.
are the tanks that I didn't wanna go into because that thing looked like a big, like, tank. This was kinda looked like something like that Ripley was in Aliens, but, like, bigger, you know, enough that I could, like,
Hmm.
spread out like that, what's that weird, like, symbol with I don't know, it's with a guy and he's, like,
You like
standing
that Da
there and it's
Vinci thing? Yeah.
yeah, that thing, yeah, like, I did that in there, and I was not that I'm the biggest person in the world, but big enough that, you know, I had space to do that. So, highly recommend float therapy. It's good way to do, you know, and it's not, you know, it's a way to get relief without any kind of medication in your body, you know,
Yeah.
it's just floating in salt, you know? So, after that, I do wanna give a shout out to a new podcast I've been listening to, it's called Idiot's Guide to Imagineering, and this podcast was kinda, like, made for me at some level because the whole reason that I got into theme parks and everything was from my first trip as a kid to Disney, you know, because and, you know, like, when you know, when you're a little kid and you see something Disney and you see how they do things and how rides tell stories and that's just an amusement park, you know, it kinda inspires you, obviously. So, like, from that point on, I was like, "Oh my god, I love Disney. I love themed attractions. I love that," and it got my love of all parks and roller coasters and spin. But what I love the format of this, so they have a group of people, of the hosts, and basically what they do is I guess they the best way to describe it is they take turns and like one week this person has the task to design an attraction for like Adventureland or something. And they kind of give I think they're based mostly in Florida, so they do a lot of Disney World stuff, but it's still cool. Like for one example, they were talking about the topic of hand was the canceled Mount Fuji uh roller coaster that was supposed to be at Epcot. And so they go into a little bit of the history about that, and then they task themselves with the person that was in charge of that week. Was told to create their own version of the Mount Fuji ride that got canceled. And what's cool is they do it really like they use a lot of like editing to make it sound like, you know, like they'll have like sound effects and things, and it literally sounds like an official Disney ride pitch. It's crazy how well they
Oh,
do
that
it.
sounds cool. Yeah, I gotta check this one out. This one sounds
Yeah,
good.
no, they are so cool, and it was funny, the reason and I reached out to them, and now I've actually started to have a chat with one of the hosts, Steven, from the podcast, because they were mentioning about I forgot how it exactly came up, but something about the whale swallowing someone, and I told them, I said, "Oh," and I guess they Googled it, and they said, "Oh my god, there's all these stories about it," and I said, "Well," I said, "Hey, I just wanna tell you, I love the podcast, but the reason why you may be seeing that is because there's currently a best-selling novel called Whale Fall
Yeah.
about a guy that gets swallowed by a whale," and I said, "And we actually had the author on at one point." Um, you know, before he had released that, remember it was just coming out, but we were talking about some other stuff. I think it was the Night of the Living Dead book thing he was writing, right? I think was
Yeah, and
that
there was
what
a
his
comic he
Daniel
was
came on?
doing as well.
Yeah, he was doing the
Yeah.
comic. That's right. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I had told him about that, and he's like, "Oh my god, this is a nightmare, but I got to read it now." And then he's like, "Oh," and he goes, "And thanks, I'm going to check out your podcast." And you know, so little cool cross promo for the podcast, but it's such a fun podcast because I think just the quality of it is so good because it's like you literally feel like the way they do the pitches though, it sounds like it's like something you're watching on like the Disney Channel back in the day when they would do like a talk about a new attraction coming. Um, and yeah, it's just a great group of people that host that show. Um, and you know, for if you're a Disney park fan, it's basically I told Tim today, I texted you, it's like what Coaster Radio does with the Real Design Contest, but like every episode.
Yeah, that
So
sounds cool.
yeah, and they do have Imagineers that come on. They have guests. They have cool stuff. So, and it's just really like cool the way they do it. So I highly recommend that if you're a fan of it's definitely, there's a lot of Disney podcasts out there. But this one definitely is one of the ones that really stand out to me because it's such a cool, it
That's a
like
cool
speaks to
premise. Yeah,
me. Yeah, like
yeah.
speaks to me, right, for sure. So um and then we'll do this, and then we'll announce our little like new idea we came up with. Tim came up with a great idea. Just want to give a shout out. We almost because we hadn't been able to been on the air since this happened, but our good friend Emily Sweet got a great write up in Rue Morgue. About her movie Adore that she's writing and starring in and producing. So which
That's
is great.
huge.
Like, yeah, that
Yeah,
is a huge publication and website to kind of give your thing out there. And of course, we knew how talented Emily was, and we knew that like sky's the limit for her, really. So I'm so glad though that she got like a movie that she's producing and wrote and is like such a big part of is got such a good notice, and it looks really cool. They have a good picture of her all bloody on there, so it's gonna be really fun. So congrats to Emily. Um, and I guess Tim, why don't you announce the review perk since it's your brilliant idea, which I absolutely love this idea.
and to be, I got to give credit where credit's due. I came up with this idea after listening to KK Sam, Kevin Cat Stay Alive, maybe, which you've heard us talk about many times before on this podcast, and you should absolutely go
Oh,
check
dear
out. They're
friends, they are
good, dear
awesome.
friends of the show. But they were doing their thing where they sing a person's name, like they do a Patreon. Like, was it Patreon or was it a review? I can't remember
No,
what
it's
they
when they get a review,
when they get a
they'll do
review.
it.
So when they get a review, they would sing. They used to do it back in the early days of the show because I got my name sung on there before.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, well, but early on we got it.
And I was thinking of that. I was like, that's such a brilliant idea. But I was like, obviously, you don't want to hear Brian and I sing,
Well, you do
but
not.
I would,
You don't even want to hear me talk, let alone sing.
and then I borrowed a little bit from my brother's podcast, which is the Fox and the Foxhound, which is a Harry Potter themed podcast, and they do a really fun thing where for all of their patrons, they every week they come up with something like it may be like I'm gonna do a cereal for every patron, like and my brother will make up a cereal based on
I don't know
that
how he
person.
does it week
Yeah,
after week. He comes up with the best thing. There's a couple of repeat jokes, but
yeah.
it's funny every time somehow.
Yeah, and then
When
like
he
the
does
next
it,
week
like,
it might be something you have to do next week. Like, you have to go talk to a stranger, you have to go buy an ice cream cone. Like, he just
yeah.
comes up with these random things for people, and it's so cool. But obviously we're not on Patreon, so we can't do that. So what I decided to do was like kind of mash that up. And so what we're proposing is if you leave us a review on, I guess, iTunes, or I mean anywhere
Anything
you can leave
really, if we see
anything
it,
you can that you can leave a review on. If you will leave us preferably a nice review, please
yes.
be kind. If you leave us a
Yes. We're
review,
not we're not gonna say you have to give a 5 star if you don't
no, you
find
don't have
that
to give
we're
a five
5 star
star.
worthy. Just
But if just leave us a review, because I know it's a pain in the ass to leave reviews. I know it. I know that. But if you will do that and let us know, like like I will keep monitoring the reviews on iTunes, but obviously I can't monitor every single platform. So if you leave a review, just shoot us a line at civilwarepodcast@gmail.com. Just let us know, or shoot us on social media, Instagram or Facebook or Blue Sky or whatever, and tell us that you left a review. We will come up with a horror movie kill in your honor of how you will die in our horror movie. So, you know, and I will come up with some good ones because Brian and I we're creative when it comes to the kill department. So we will come up with
yes,
some really good stuff.
yes, and believe it or not, I mean, me, you could probably expect this from, but Tim, who's like if you meet him, he's like the kindest person you'll see. But like I have the twisted mind, but Tim can come up with some twisted ideas. So it's just like so between us both, I think your guys will be very it'll be really creative what you come up with. And actually, I meant to tell you this. I'll tell you this off air to see if this thing picks up because I might have an extra little twist to add to this. Like a bonus to this idea. But right now, I think it's best to do it like this way.
Yeah.
But
So there you'll be given your assignment. Leave us a review
yes.
and you will get a kill on the podcast. And if you've already left us a review, let us know that too, and we'll retroactively go back
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we'll kill
maybe
some.
starting, like, next week. I was thinking that, I'm like, "Oh, I feel bad for the people that left great reviews already." We wanna give them some more. So, yeah, if you've written one earlier in the back in when we started, send us that too. I think I know most of them who did,
Yeah.
but, yeah, because we'd love to, like, I think we definitely owe, David one because he he get not only does he leave us a review, he sends us these awesome emails. I mean, like it's one of my favorite things when I like Tim is good at getting back. I to you on that, David. I'm as not as good, but I do love to read them. I like it's one of my favorite things when I see one of your emails to us because he like he's been such a listener for so long and he has such good like insight and he's suggested some things for us too in the past and so yeah, he's definitely one that's due, like, he should almost have the honorary first one, like, when we
Yeah.
started, like, just
And
because
I will
even
tell
though
you this.
we don't really want him killed off because he's one of the
No.
nicest
Well,
people
like I gotta
ever,
come up with a
but
good one for Cody too. I mean,
oh, yes, and
but I
Cody,
gotta
of
that's
course,
gotta
yes.
take some time to craft that
Yes,
one.
Cody and David are gonna get 2
Yeah.
special ones, like, they're gonna get, like, the elite, like
You guys don't know how
like
much it means when we hear back from people because literally doing a podcast is like shouting into an
yeah,
open pit void and you don't hear anything back
yes,
typically. And usually even and I will say even big podcasts that have a ton of listeners, only a very very small fraction of listeners ever give any feedback whatsoever, much less an email or anything. So anytime we hear back, it allows us to know, hey, there's people out there actually listening, there's people out there actually enjoying it, and yes, we should keep doing this. Because
yeah,
honestly, if you keep making shows week after week and you never hear anything, no likes, no nothing, no
yeah,
reviews, no ratings, you're like, at some point you start, this doubt starts creeping in your mind, like, what am I doing? Like, what should I even be
yeah.
doing this? Like, obviously me and Brian love this, and we're going to keep doing it. But I'm just saying, there have been times in the past where I'm going, I don't know if anybody's even listening to this. What am I
I
doing?
know,
What am I
do
wasting
we
my
have
time?
anyone that heard this,
Yeah. So, and then you'll end up getting a cool interview, or you'll get an email, and then all of a sudden it just resets. And you're like, oh my god, there's people out there. And then so anytime you could just like give just a little feedback, that goes for any of, not just us, any of
Yeah,
your content creators. I always reach out to podcasts and creators that I enjoy just to let them know, hey, I like what you're doing. I'm out here. I appreciate it, because I know what it feels like to be on the other side of that. So yeah,
well,
we would appreciate your reviews.
yeah, no, that's why I go out of my way, like, on Instagram, even podcasts we've talked for forever, like, like Spooky Chicks and Kim and Kat, and I'll send them a message like, "Oh my god, this was awesome on this episode," or "Great job," or "This was funny," or like, the Queens of NC-17, they had me hysterical the other day about something, and I like, first thing I did, I, like, literally paused the podcast, messaged them, I said, "You have no idea how me this is," and you probably saw it, you saw it on the
Yeah,
Instagram, the back and forth, and I'm just like, because I you know what, 'cause people it takes time to do this, and it is an energy level. So it's like, especially like even though it's like if you hear from another content creator telling you that's fine too because it probably means the world. I mean, and
yeah,
look at the friendships we've developed by doing stuff like that.
yeah,
Honestly, this podcast we've said this a million times. We wouldn't exist if we didn't reach out to Coaster Radio and get involved in that podcast.
yeah. Exactly.
So I
And
mean,
we make zero money. We
yeah,
lose money,
we
hand over
hemorrhage it.
fist,
Yes.
hemorrhage money making this podcast. We put in our own time and effort for no monetary compensation whatsoever. We don't even have Patreon, so we don't even break even.
No. Yeah, we
So
don't.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
and we made
really,
what, like $12 total, like
yeah, I think we
history
made.
on the store. Which, by the
Yeah.
way, I should mention, I'm about to. Hopefully, that should be within the next couple of weeks. It should be active to with our new
Oh, I can't
logo.
wait. I can't
Yeah,
wait to
and we
get
have
a hoodie.
hats now, which is I'm super excited about because I've always wanted a Civil War cap, and I'm like, I'm not gonna go to another place just to order one cap for $75, what they charge me, and I'm not gonna order a
Yeah,
box of them either. So it's like,
I will. Let
so
me. I
I'm
mean,
glad
as
we
soon as
have that.
that thing is up, I'm buying
Oh
hoodies
yeah.
for everybody in the house.
Yes,
So
yeah,
yeah.
we all need the hoodies they do a really good job. And they added some new stuff there, like some like yoga pants, I think, or something for people. And then
No
there's
thong for Steve, unfortunately, yet,
no,
but
he still
we're
wants that.
we're
I don't
working
know.
on
I
it.
gotta ask EB because Coastal Radio sells the thongs. I don't know what site they use, but I don't know if that's like they like we like it's a weird thing because it's like t-shirts, sweatshirts, and thongs is what they have on there. And I don't know how like that popped in there. It's like and also it's like, if you're gonna eat how much do you have to love something to support it down there, you know? It's like,
I
you
know.
kn
I mean, not many people get to see down there. You
I
know.
mean, yeah, I mean, our highlight, of course, was when Cody bought our shower curtain, but that's the old
Yes.
logo now. I feel like we need to almost, like, treat her to a new one.
Yes,
Uh,
a new shower
if they
curtain.
still sell the shower
You
curtains,
can't
I
have
don't know.
old, out of date shower curtains.
No, you can't
It's
like, yeah,
bad.
you can't have the that logo. Cody deserves the proper one there. And yeah, it's like I think I may order. Like I keep threatening Julie, I'm gonna order the Civil War throw pillow for for our new couch we bought, but like I don't think that one's gonna fly. I
That's why
have a
there's a
feeling
bridge
that
too
one's gonna be
far.
buried. Yeah, just a little bit.
So
Uh,
Brian sprung a Tubi Trap on me.
oh yeah.
If you guys don't know, Tubi Trap is when we pick a movie off of Tubi, a horror movie off of Tubi, that the other one has to watch and give their review of. And as you might expect, with the vast array of Tubi horror movies out there, doesn't
Yeah.
mean they're always of the highest quality.
No.
But we have to watch them anyway, and that's why it is a Tubi Trap. And this week was Graveyard Shark, which came out last year, directed by Matthew A. Peters, and starring Stephanie Ward as Abby, Michael John Gilbert as Greg, Burndell March as Captain Seaburn, Ryan
Good name.
Santiago as Sheriff McDermott, not Dylan McDermott or
No. Or
Dermot
Cheryl
Mulroney,
Mulroney, yeah. Yeah.
Madeline Sabawa as Sadie, and Olivia Walton as Chip Connors. And the synopsis here is: a renowned cryptid hunter, Abby, investigates the terrifying urban legend of the graveyard shark, a humanoid creature stalking its prey in Willsboro Point's graveyard. Teaming up with survivors, she uncovers the creature's dark origins.
Now, Tim, before you get into this though, because I know I kind of know where this is going to go, but I have to say, if you look at that description, knowing you,
Yes,
you like shark movies, you
I
like
like
cryptids.
cryptids.
So I'm
Yes.
like, I wasn't intentionally trying to give you one that was so ridiculous. And I mean, yes, obviously the graveyard
Yeah.
shark, but like, I'm
No,
like,
no.
it could be good. Like that one you sent me, like could have been a disaster. It turned out to be a surprise how fun it was. So I was hoping with the cryptid and shark thing would create something that was
Yeah.
watchable for
Oh,
you. But
I totally get it. I would have picked this one for you for sure. This one is definitely very low budget, very indie. I will say I'm gonna start with the positives. I will say I have seen far worse, far worse low budget movies in this vein. So this one actually does have some quite a few redeeming qualities. Again, yeah, it is very low budget. The effects are pretty good, like aside from the shark, which is obviously just a hammerhead
yeah,
mask.
which
But
you sent me a picture of, and I was like, oh my God,
yeah,
what did I get
it was
poor
pretty
Tim
bad.
into?
But given this is very heavily a comedy, so you can kind of forgive that. They do have some pretty good, like lots of blood, lots of fake blood, which is good. I don't ever mind plenty of gore, but it's definitely leans very hard on the humor. And I will have to say, with these indie movies, especially these low budget ones, usually they tend to lean a little more into the juvenile humor than I'm actually super comfortable with. Like they tend to get into overly sexual humor, I guess, which I'm not a prude, but at the same time, it's like I'm not, it's one of those things that it's you can kind of see it coming a mile away with these level of movies. And this one has quite a bit of that. But I will have to say, there are some really funny actors in here. The guy that plays Captain Seaburn is pretty hilarious, and he was definitely the highlight of the movie for me. Um, sometimes the jokes don't quite land. Sometimes get a feeling that it's funny to the people involved in making the movie more than it is funny to the audience, which is probably how a lot of people feel about this podcast. By the
Yeah, right.
way,
Yeah.
so I get it, but yeah. But there are some bizarre things that occur in this. I can't even go into detail. I've gone into detail in the group chat.
Yeah.
Some of the I will just say there are several sexual encounters with cryptids in this movie. There is a duo of rappers who are obsessed with ice cream for some reason.
Mhm.
It's very bizarre, but at the same time very creative. The best thing I could say about this movie is you could tell the people that were making it were having a blast, and that comes out on screen. And that to me made this movie watchable versus unwatchable, because I could tell the people making the movie were having a great time making it.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like to see that. I like people having fun, and they got a movie made. That's more than I've
Yeah.
ever done. So even though this one wouldn't technically say it was for me, the humor didn't necessarily always land, and I wouldn't say it's like a great movie. I will have to say I really appreciated these guys having fun and making a movie and having fun doing it. and going all, even if the humor didn't always land for me, they went all the way with it. They gave it 100%, and
Mm,
I absolutely appreciated that. If these guys ever wanted to come on, I'm just saying,
yeah.
like, I wouldn't be bashing you. Like, I would be fully 100% having a
Well,
great time talking to you
I'll
about how
look
you
him
made
up.
this movie.
It's
Yeah.
director's Matthew A. Peters. Let's see if we can find him
Yeah, if
online
you
and
could
see if
come on, I would love to discuss making this movie because it seemed like it was a blast.
So actually, funny, I have a theory. You said something that triggered a theory that I've always kind of had in my mind. So nowadays, with so many streaming services and so much content that people need, I think it's allowing people, like you said it's kind of like that. What would you say the term you used about like the adolescence humor or something
Like
like
a little bit juvenile
juvenile?
humor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think now because people are just willing to get so many things to be put out on a streaming service because and place like Tubi, which just will take anything like that, it kind of gives you those movies that you would have made in high school with your buddies. But
Yeah.
now you got a little money behind it because they'll pay you a little bit to do it. So like a filmmaker like him, he might have had this idea from like when he was in high school, and now
Right.
he's got the opportunity to make it. So no matter how it may be looked upon by the maybe the snooty elites in Hollywood, I'm glad stuff like this comes out. I mean, Full Moon made a whole like company based off of these type of movies. I mean, unfortunately, no one does it as good as Full Moon does, but
And
I mean,
trauma
stuff
too.
like
I
that.
mean, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Trauma. Yeah, also, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. Like, there's an audience for this, and even if you look at the letterbox reviews, like, people liked it. They
Yeah,
generally liked it because there is an audience for these kind of. I'm not saying this to be disparaging, but these dumb to be horror movies, like,
yeah.
they're fun to watch. Just like if you just want to watch something silly, and this is what this is. It's silly, but it's
I'd
supposed to
rather
be
watch this
silly.
than the news these days.
Yeah,
So you know
exactly.
what?
It's supposed to be
It's
silly.
escape.
It's supposed to be
Yeah,
ridiculous. It's supposed to be over the top, and that's what they went for, and that's what they got. So I
yeah.
mean, I can't bash that.
No, I would. It's
So
like that's what I love about Tubi Trap and Tubi just in general because it just will put you could find anything on there. And you know what I've said this before, but I found some amazing documentaries on Tubi that's just like hidden in there
oh
that you
yeah,
just
they
have to
have tons
stumble
of good stuff.
upon
Yeah,
the right algorithm to pull up, like that Shenmue documentary I saw in there. I never knew there was a documentary made on that. And I love
yeah.
that. There's tons of great stuff. So yeah, what I'd love to get is I'd love to somehow get like whoever is some curators from Tubi on the
Do
show.
they have curators?
Oh
Or,
my
well, they
god,
just take everything.
I know the curator is a guy like he just walks around like at church where they pass the basket. Just like
Just passing the
put
offering
your
plate.
movies in. Put your movies in here.
I'm
Yeah.
like, we don't curate. We
I
don't
know,
curate
curate is
shit.
a loose word. Now we're insulting Tubi, which we love,
Oh
but
my god,
yeah, no, but
we
it's like,
love
yeah,
Tubi.
curate. You're right. Curate is probably not the proper word because I think that
Collector.
has
I'm
some
a
sort of
collector. Yeah, I
yeah.
don't
It's
know.
like, but don't you feel like that? Like that's what they do. They're like or it's like that when they walk into like the Walmart has those $5 movie bins and you'll just grab everything just because. I feel like that's kind of like the a visual metaphor of what Tubi does.
But I will
But
say, sorry, bro. I will say, Tubi at least will look at the quality, like the video quality, to some extent before they put it on. Like, Amazon Prime does
oh
not
god,
care at
yeah.
all. Like,
Yeah, there was one
dude.
remember, like, stopped in the middle of the movie? There was that one we were watching, and, like, we had on and, like, it literally, like, didn't finish, like, they just
Yeah,
cut
like
it off?
Amazon, like, has zero. They give zero Fs. Like, they just, like, throw it on there. They don't even, they don't screen it. They don't do anything. They
Yeah,
just throw it on there. So at least Tubi has some little minimum standard. The other thing I like
yeah.
about Tubi is if you look at their ads, obviously they've got ads in the middle of their movie, but their ads, unlike Plex or Pluto, is it Pluto or Plex? I can't remember. One of them might be
I think
Pluto
Plex, yeah.
or Plex. It might be. I don't. One of the P ones. Um, will keep ramping up the number of commercials the farther you go into the movie. Whereas
Oh, that's
Tubi does that,
Plex, yeah, that
yeah,
Plex did
which
that to
is
me, I was
so
going
annoying.
crazy.
But Tubi is
Yeah.
the opposite. Tubi starts dropping down the number of ads as you go through the movie, which I think is cool. So,
Funniest thing
anyway,
is, like, sometimes too, people give you an ad like that, like literally in another language, and I'm like, I don't understand what I don't know what they're advertising, but, I'm trying to guess it, but it's, like, not like I pay attention to them anyway, but I'm
yeah,
glad you know what? Tubi has still to this day have not charge anybody for that, and they get like they played the damn Super Bowl they had this year. I
They have
mean,
the Super. Like, it's the only reason I could watch the Super Bowl this year without signing up for something. Like
yeah.
I'm running out of email addresses to sign up for free Fubo account.
Oh
But
yeah, I know. That's right. I had
so
that for a little bit. Yeah, for something I needed, like a
yeah.
game or
But
something.
anyway, so
But
yeah,
and
that
then they
was
have
great.
their own WWE show coming out. So I mean, they're like they Tubi is not like, like they started off as kind of like this
This
like
joke.
laugh thing, but
Yeah.
but you know what? In the end, they are one of my most go-to streaming
But
services.
go to
And I
their
don't even
if
pay for it.
but if you go to their horror section, there's some legit good.
Yeah.
Like I'm not talking like we laugh about the Tubi horror movies. Like there's some like legit good movies on there that are
Oh
like
yeah.
classic that you would see on HBO Max or you would see on Netflix or you would see on Paramount. I mean, these are like legit.
Yeah.
There's
Oh no,
tons. Like if you
I
didn't have
love
any of those
Tubi.
other streaming services, you would still be able to find like classic good movies on Tubi.
Yeah, no, there's honestly nothing as like Tubi, I think for not having to pay for a free streaming service for it's weird to say this, but for the value you get out of your time, like I guess a time value of you dedicating time on there,
Well, the
I
commercials are
guarantee,
relatively innocuous. Like they're
yeah,
relatively not bad.
yeah, they're like 10, 20 seconds sometimes a
Yeah.
piece. And but also, you'll never like I like almost like challenge you to try and like you say you have 2 hours and you want to carve out time. I guarantee you can go on Tubi and you will find something to fill that time. You will
Oh
whether
yeah,
it be a
easily.
documentary, horror, comedy, some other kind of thing, you will find something to hold your interest on Tubi. It's just
That's great. Anyway,
so
we
I
do
love
not
that
get paid by
our
Tubi, but
Tubi curating thing that went off there, but that's fun. Well, now
all right.
let's
So
get into
those
another
are maybe
streaming
an
service.
hour into the podcast. Let's get to our main
Yeah,
feature. It's called Starve Acre. It's from
yeah.
2023.
It's a
It's
Shutter
direct.
exclusive, I believe now,
Yeah,
right?
it's Shudder exclusive.
Yeah.
Directed by Daniel Coco Tajlo
I don't know. I
Coco
thought you were gonna say
Tajlo.
Coco D Coco Da, like
Coco.
from that movie. Remember that movie? That
Coco.
was
Oh, that
weird.
poster was so awesome. I still want the
Oh, it's
poster to
so
that movie.
yeah, I love that one.
I'm sorry, Daniel. I'm screwing your name up.
Yeah, I
Coco
think it's yeah,
Coco
Coco
Tajlo.
Tajlo. Yeah, or
Coco.
Coco
I'm gonna go with
Tajlo.
Coco
Maybe the J
Tajlo.
could be silent. I don't know.
It stars Matt Smith, who I did not realize was in this movie until he came up, which was weird because it was like having a Game of Thrones guy and a not or House of Dragons guy and a Lord of the Rings of
Yeah, I
Power
know.
person in the
It's like
same
all
movie
these
was
like
weird.
medieval like people.
So Matt Smith plays Richard. How do you say her name? Morphiff?
You know what? I spelled it wrong. It's Morphid. It's supposed to be
Morphid. Okay.
FFYD, and I did
Oh, okay. I was
I don't
like,
know what
what
I
in the
did, but
world?
it's
There was a lot
Morphid
of F's.
Clark. Yes, I
Morphid
love her
Clark.
too. She was so
Yeah,
good
she's so
in
good.
Saint Maud too. So
Morphin Clark is Juliet, Arthur Shaw is Owen, Aaron Richards is Harry, Robert Ems is Stephen, and Sean Gilder is Gordon.
I like Erin Richards too. She was really good.
Oh
The
yeah.
sister,
All
yeah.
of them were good. The cast was
Oh yeah,
amazing.
that's true. Yeah, there
Um,
wasn't a bad cast in this.
an idyllic rural family life of a couple is thrown into turmoil when their son starts acting out of character. Like I said, I went into this movie, had no clue what it was about. Never even seen a trailer, never seen. I didn't even read the description on Shudder. I just went right into it, and I immediately realized, okay, this is folk horror, which is right up my alley. You start to get a sense that it's going to be slow burn, which is right up my alley.
I mean, most
So
folk cars are, but that's
there,
the way it
yeah,
has to
true,
kind of go.
yeah.
It's just they work that way. I think like frenetic pace of a folk horror movie just would not work.
The kid in this one's really good at playing the creepy crapbag kid.
Oh, he is creepy crapbag, all right.
We find out very quickly that he is troubled, to say the least. He definitely has some issues. Matt Smith is as Richard as his dad is doing like a great job of trying to. His mom's kind of like at the point like she doesn't know what to do. Like I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on with this kid. He's kind of taking the approach like the kid just needs to know somebody loves him, and I'm going to really take the extra effort and time to show this kid some attention.
Which is funny because that sentiment leads to an actual major plot point reveal towards the end,
Yeah,
which you don't catch necessarily unless you're. It's a hard movie to focus on everything. I watched it
yeah.
twice to make sure I caught it all.
And this is
Actually,
hard because I don't want to spoiler this one because this one is
right? It's yeah. We
just
can't
came out
really.
on Shutter, so
We kind of
I
got to
don't want to
dance
spoil
around a
anything. So I'm
couple
going to
of
really
things here.
dance around, and we may not be able to talk about it like super long, which I know we say that all the time, but I mean I don't like people giving me spoilers on stuff if it just came
No,
out. If it's a
if
20-year
that's
old
your
movie, it's fine.
format, like you're gonna
Yeah,
like obviously two of our favorite podcasts. Will
yeah.
like, but they
If
tell you
that's
they
your
say we
format,
are
yeah.
going to spoil this, so
Whereas our
that's our
format, we want
and
to
that's
give you a
fine.
review
Yeah.
and feedback without like completely ruining. But anyway, so we find out uh, that he's troubled, and this is kind of this family dynamic that's kind of established early on, and then there's an event that happens that really changes the course of the movie.
Right, which we need to
Um,
warn Ken about, I think.
yeah, but
If Ken watches this.
there's kind of a twist in this movie that kind of changes things completely, and it's really a very, like I said, very slow burn. The reviews on Shutter, which people that review on Shutter are ruthless. Oh my
Yeah,
god, I've got
I don't understand some I like, you know, you're on a horror streaming platform that has like, if you know anything about Shudder, you should know that they have a wide variety of horror genres on there. And something I see some complaints, "Well, this isn't really that horror." Um, it is, it's a style in my when you don't like, but that's the beauty of this. It's like all horror. And you something someone who loves all different aspects of horror can find something always on Shudder that will match their
well,
style.
I see two kinds of Shutter reviewers. You see the ones that give it 1 star because this is boring, turned it off after 5 minutes. Those reviewers, and then you get the other ones that are like, after as having a doctorate in folk horror from the 1970s, the themes in this one, and they'll go blah 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 blah. Like, I'm the smartest person in the room on Shutter, and
Yeah.
I'm like, and then they'll give it a bad review because they have to
I
show
don't even pay
everybody how much they
attention.
know about horror. Like, I
Yeah,
don't.
I don't even pay attention anymore to the Shutter
The
reviews.
Shutter
I'll go
reviews are
right to,
just
like, Rotten Tomatoes if I want something or even
they're
IMDb a
they're
little bit.
irritating. But anyway,
Yeah.
so Shutter reviewers, be better, just be better.
Yeah.
But the complaints I saw, and I will have to say, I understand where they're coming from, or that it was too slow, or not a big enough payoff, that kind of thing. I get it. This movie is not going to be for everybody. I happen to love it. I
Yeah,
thought
I did
the
too. Yeah.
cast was so good. They elevated, the acting was so good. They elevated this movie beyond what it could have been with a lesser cast. Um, I did not mind the slow burn. I did not mind the fact that, could they have made this much scarier? There were opportunities, yes. There
Yeah.
were opportunities, yes, to make this a much scarier film, but they didn't. That wasn't what this was going to be. This was not going to be a jump scare movie. This was not. This was not supposed to be that kind of movie. It was supposed to be one of those horror films where the horror comes from a sense of unease and
Yeah.
tension driven by the characters, and it's not going to be about jump scares, and it's not going to be about supernatural craziness and that kind of thing. That's just the kind of movie it is, and I understood that, and I enjoyed it because of that.
Mm.
uh, so I did not mind the slow pace. I did not mind the you know the, what some people would call missed opportunities, I would say. But I thought it was great that they left things subtle and they left things very low key, and they basically held back when they could have gone for the cheap scare, or they could have gone for um you know what a more mainstream horror audience might want. So I applaud the fact that they made this movie. I think it's based off a book, so they were probably following the book.
Well, yeah, I was gonna tell you something interesting about the book because one of because it goes in along your reviews. Someone was I saw a lot of people complain about, like you said, about the payoff at the end not being enough. And do you know I found a fact in there? Now, whether I did not fact check this myself, it was in one of the review articles I read, but they said that book was released twice, and in both iterations had different endings in the book. The second time it was released, it had a different ending, so they're like, I would wonder if that's why, like, the director, or whoever, the screenwriter of this made it maybe had trouble with the ending. Now, I didn't see it as troubling, the ending. I thought it made
Right.
sense to me based on the way the movie was going, the true progression of this movie. I think people are expecting, you know what? Because and I think you know what? I think it's all the found footage movies, and it's all these movies where, like, they do the slow burn and then the boom, this big surprise shock. That's not what this is. It's a slow shock, but if you pay attention enough, you can kinda see where it's going ahead of time. So, whether or not that's what people are clinging to is why it's not such a good ending, I mean, that's up to them. I just the way it to me, what I was you find out, like and it's through dialogue a lot, which is another thing that I think some people just don't have the patience for these days. Like, they need to see it visually because, well,
Hmm.
everyone's on their phones, everyone's on their thing. Sometimes you forget that, like, a great piece of dialogue or great lines of dialogue could be worth like 30 minutes of craziness going on. Like there like and this was the second time I watched this, like in that scene where that guy Gordon, not or no, yeah, Gordon, that neighbor, the creepy like neighbor guy who's like kind of integral into the party. He's a weird character kind of thing because he's like you're not really sure about him throughout the whole thing. When he tells the story and he gives that reveal I was alluding to earlier, he says it in a way that's like, you know what? He goes, "This it's kinda like it did kinda tie the movie in there, but there was still about 15 minutes after that." So I think the reveal people were looking for happens sooner than they were expecting it, in my eyes, at least. I don't know if you thought that too,
Yeah,
but I felt like the reveal was done about 15 minutes before the end of the movie.
and kind of the
And
reveal's done through dialogue, which if you're not paying
and through the dialogue.
attention,
Yeah, that's my point. It's like it doesn't have to always be a giant visual reveal. And that
yeah,
actor was great. Sean Gilder, I never heard of him. I don't know what he's from. All I
they
know
were
is
all
he
so
played
good
that
in it.
role perfect.
And I mean, you got to look at the caliber of these actors. I mean, Matt Smith is freaking
Yeah, it
legend.
was
I
a
mean,
Doctor
he's
Who, for God's sake,
yeah. I mean,
a beloved guy. Remember
like
all the stuff with him where like people thought he was going to be in the Star Wars? It was like dominating every single Star Wars thing.
yeah.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God!
he's
And he wasn't even in it. But
but he's like, I mean, he's freaking legend. And then like he was so good in House of Dragons, like
yeah,
ridiculously good.
I didn't see that, but I just know everything I've seen him in has been
Yeah,
like
and then
and he's in a lot of stuff. You look at his
oh, he's
IMDb,
in so
there's
many
stuff you don't
things.
even remember he's in until you're like, "Oh my
And
god,
then
that's right. That was Matt Smith."
I'm watching Rings of Power season 2 right now, and Morphin Clark is just amazing in that. She's so
She's
good.
I love her as an actress. She she's gonna be one of those actresses, I think, as long as I see her on the cast, I'm gonna watch the movie because
Yeah, like she was. I
she's
mean,
that good.
this was a hard role because she had to play a mother that is going through a lot of trauma, like
Right.
a lot. Like throughout this movie, she's going through a lot of trauma. So I mean, she basically had to like heavy emotions in this one, and she
Yeah,
just was
and
like so good, so believable.
and remember, she learns a lot of stuff about her husband's past that as the audience does too. So you actually get to see her character kind of react to that and change along with it. So that's a this I have a feeling this movie, honestly, for the people that like maybe iffy on it after watching it, not sure what they feel, I recommend watching it a second time because I think some movie not that you should have to watch a movie twice. I
Right.
think it's more on the people, on just the way the world is now. You go into this mindset. Everyone has this pre-expectation of something what they're gonna get, and when they don't get it, it kinda, like, just almost like short circuits everything, and you don't appreciate what you got what you had in front of you. So, if you're even iffy on it and I watched it a second time more so I can make sure I could talk about it accurately. I mean, I got most of it the first time. I did catch a couple of things on the second watch where I'm like, "Oh, I you know what, I don't think I caught that the first time." But it's just it's one of those things like I'll you know how there's people like one of the most recent ones that I feel like a lot of people have been divided on in this style is The Witch. You know, Tim and I absolutely loved it. And there are people there that didn't that were like, "Oh, you like that movie? You like The Witch? It was so boring." Because what did they expect? They probably expected like something where this witch was coming out and going to claw people to death. You know, they didn't, you know.
I'm
I
gonna
mean, and
steal
that was
your
my first
baby.
Ralph Ineson, introduction, and,
Yeah,
like, he's been one of my favorite actors ever since, so, like, I hold that movie in such high regard because of just that alone, and, of course, Anna Taylor-Joy, who's, like, now has become huge, and that was one of her first things, if not her first, right?
yeah. Oh, it's actually funny that slow burn horror has been so prevalent because the attention spans of people these days are minuscule, really minuscule. I mean, if you look at most of these movies, and then that's why a lot of people like hate these.
Yeah.
And I don't like playing the generation pitting generations against each other. I don't. I just don't like that. But I will say, younger audiences have grown up in a time where everything is short form format. I mean, music is short form. You're not listening to full albums anymore. Um, you know, even everything's on demand, so you're getting it instantly. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. They can't help when
Similar
they're
to watch a
born.
movie online at a store nowadays. It's
Yeah,
like
but I mean, and I'm not blaming younger audiences because they can't help when they were born. God, I wish I was.
yeah,
That'd be it's awesome. I would have loved to have that when I was younger.
yeah.
Um, on demand everything, but it does set an expectation of things happening quicker. Like it's just a faster paced world. That's just what technology has brought us to. And I can completely understand if your brain cannot like you get bored because after 5 minutes it's just been people talking in a room. I mean I get it. I guess maybe it's easier for me because I also grew up in a time where we didn't have that, and so I was used to having to wait to watch a TV show because it came on at 8 o'clock and I couldn't just watch it on demand, or I had to wait to go to the movie and see it because I couldn't watch it after. There was, or I had to play the same video game over and over and over because I just couldn't just grab 100 Steam games. I lived through that, so that's kind of built into me. Like I don't expect everything to be like magically um, so fast. So I don't know. Maybe that's why I got more patience for it. I don't know, but
Yeah, I don't know. I just think go into this, like, if you're gonna listen to what we talked about, we didn't really give too much away. We
no,
just gave its highlights of what we liked about it. Give it a chance. Don't go into it, on this one, put your phone down, put it out of the room. Because, I know I'm the tendency, I'll be watching something on TV, and if I start to get bored, first thing I'll do is I'll pick up my phone because I'm so used to listening to something and watching something at the same time, so I can do it. But a movie like this, you can't do that too. You need to like just put the phone down, kind of like focus on it. Just sit there. Don't like if you don't think you're gonna have the full time to watch it, don't start it and say I'll watch the rest later. Just carve out the hour and 40 minutes it is to watch this, and really just like go into it as like as a it really is a very and it's like we didn't even mention one of the things I want to mention. The visuals and the cinematography is beautiful in this movie. There are some shots and imagery that's just really well like
yeah,
shot.
I didn't honestly. I did not find it to be slow. I didn't
No, I
think it
didn't
was slow
find
at
it that
all.
slow either. Yeah, I'm
But
just
I
saying
think
like I could see why. Yeah,
yeah, and I can see why people thought it, but I didn't personally didn't find it slow because I was so riveted by their performances and the cinematography. Like to me, that was the entertaining. Like
yeah.
like every time somebody was talking on screen, I was like watching their performance, like, oh my god, this is really really good. Like so I never felt bored because I was never distracted away from their performances. I never got bored with their performances. I never got bored with what I was seeing on screen. So
I do have one question that
yeah,
I don't know if you could answer this. I noticed it, but was it me or did the sister actually wear that sweater vest combo through the whole movie? Did she change clothes once? I think
you
it's
might be
over a
right.
couple of days,
You might be
but it's
right.
funny, and I don't know. The only reason I'm laughing at that is because I thought the sister's, she's an attractive woman and she's a good character in it, and like so you focus on her a lot. So I'm like, it's interesting. She's almost like now. I bet you that, and I bet you if we talk to the Daniel who direct, I bet you that was 100% intentional because it probably meant to represent something. Like she's just what she is, and that's it.
Yeah,
She doesn't need to change one
she's some
bit.
constant or
Yeah,
whatever.
like some
Yeah,
kind of yeah, exactly, yeah. So,
yeah.
but it's kind of funny because it's a very colorful, like little sweater thing, and it's like it's kind of funny.
I
But
don't know.
but yeah,
I really enjoyed it. I thought,
I did too.
again,
I
I'm a folk
it's
horror fan. I'm a slow burn fan. So this was right up my alley. I just thought it was brilliant performances. Would I felt the same if it had not been such a strong cast? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But I know the performances were a big standout for me in this movie.
yeah.
So
Oh no, if this was not shot with such great cinematography and it had lesser tier actors that like weren't up to that kind of emotional heft that this film required, I don't think yeah, right. I probably would have been not enjoyed as much. But I felt like whoever was the casting director on this just like should like win awards. I swear. I don't know because it was like I like it's one of these movies already that that like I can say like I couldn't picture anyone else doing those roles. They seem to like fit those roles
yeah,
perfectly.
I don't know. Check that one out on Shutter.
Yeah, Starve Acre.
It's
Definitely.
Starve Acre. Definitely worth your time, especially if you're a folk
Yes.
horror fan. So Brian, yeah, I'm
Yeah, well,
laughing
this
at
is
your.
kind of a spoiler because we didn't even go into this
We
at
need to go into
all.
this. Well, it's not
But
going to be a spoiler for those who haven't seen it yet. We'll just, but
Yeah, it's
It
just
let's just
but also
suffice it to
because
say it has a lot to do with the movie.
it does, and I think there's also, I think on one of the images, like, I saw, I think I don't know if it's a poster or Shudder, or I saw it on IMDb or something, but they show
Yeah, it's
this
on the
thing,
poster. It can't be that big of a spoiler.
yeah, it's and the beer is called the Hare, as in, rabbit, not like a curly hair or something. Uh, Mountain, and it's from Mountain Culture Beer Company, which that's to me sounds like something like Montana, right, or Colorado.
Yeah,
No, this is in
Colorado.
Katoomba, New South Wales, in Australia.
Wow.
So yeah, much different than I thought. And yeah, I was not expecting it to be. I thought this was like some kind of like country sounding beer, but or like Colorado or something. I don't know. It's got 5.4 ABV, and here's the description. It says, "Fast out of the blocks with an explosion of juicy freshness, we have brewed the Hare, alongside our mates at Black Hearts and Sparrows, using our House Hazy yeast strain to enhance the unique complexity of the all New Zealand hop bill." So they got New Zealand's like hops in there.
Mm.
This is like
These
a,
are hops I've never heard of before.
I know. Well, Mantuka I heard. That's actually one of my favorite ones in beers. Mix, but I never heard the next one. A mix of Mantuka, or it might be Mantika. I don't know. I may say it wrong. Muter and Waiti hops. I don't know. Is that Taika Waiti's like favorite hop? Anyway, and Waiti hops provide a vibrant lime and passion fruit flavors, backed up by the supercharged grapefruit that characterizes New Zealand hops. We're pushing this exceedingly popular style as far as it can go. So when you
I'm
watch the
all in
movie, you'll see
on,
why I did hair. Yeah, this beer to me, actually, I want to start. I want to see if I
yeah,
can
like
find this.
any kind of like juicy IPAs or grapefruit IPAs. I'm like all in on. I
Yeah.
love those.
Well, yeah, usually I'm a big Citra, Mosaic, Mantica is one of the ones I do like too. But yeah, I'm like you. I like a grapefruit, a passion fruit for sure. Um,
Blood
Something you know what I
orange.
had the other oh my God, you know what I had the other day? I think did I send it to you guys? I don't know. I had an Ube IPA. It was
Hmm.
purple, because
I've never
like
had
ube
that.
is a
Yeah.
big out in California. Ube is everywhere. Like the flavor, like ube ice cream at it's like ube, like the boba drinks and
I
stuff
don't think
they
I've ever
have. Like
had that.
everything's ube. It's ube. It's really good. It's like a purple root, kind of like a purple
Hmm.
yam kind of thing. But it's really I'm like kind of hooked on that flavor. So I was like, oh, I'll give it a try. And oh my God, I was so surprised. It was strong beer and it was delicious. For a heavy IPA, I was like surprised how good it was. But yeah, so I would definitely try something like this. So my fan topic food got deleted, but I remember it. And it's very simple. Kind of a bit of a spoiler, but now that we named the beer, it's fine. So, uh, so Tim, out of these two creatures, this is my question: which do you find more terrifying, Black Phillip or the hare that was in this movie?
Okay, I'm glad you asked this because I was gonna bring it up actually, and I intentionally didn't bring it up because we had not mentioned the hair before. But now that we have, now the hair is out in the open.
The hare's out of the bag,
The hair is out of the bag. Um,
or the box in this
I
case, in this movie.
I have always found rabbits to be terrifying. And I was almost going to ask, if you had not come up with a fan topic food question, I was going to make the question, what non scary animal are you terrified of? I would have two
That I
answers.
I was so tired when I was doing this. That's kind of what I was thinking of originally. That
Yeah,
type of guy. I could not phrase it the right way as I wanted to in my head because I think I was just so mentally
because everybody
exhausted. I
knows
had a long day.
I can't stand frogs. I'm terrified of
Right.
frogs. I
Yeah.
don't like frogs. I don't like grasshoppers. Um,
Did you see the video of the kid where he surprises, but she finds a frog and she puts it on her sleeping mom's face and she wakes up
Yes,
with the
yes,
frog on
that'd
her
be like
flat?
my worst nightmare. Like I can't, but I've always found rabbits very disturbing. I don't look at now. Obviously, there's the little bunnies that you see like on the side in the yard or something. Those are
They're
different.
adorable. Yeah.
But like those white rabbits with the pink eyes that they sell at the pet store, and like these, especially these hares, these
They're
giant like
long and scrawny.
they're scrawny and they have like these long ears and they look like rats with like long skeleton arms. I don't like them. Think they're horribly creepy. My brother had a rabbit one time, like a pet rabbit, and I couldn't stand that thing. It scared the crap out of me. Like it would, you could take it out of its cage and it would like hop like a normal bunny would hop, for a couple of feet, and then it would do this like spasm thing, and it would like
Right.
jump all over the hallway, like bang into walls and stuff, and it would freaked me out. I could not stand it. It was scared
I
me.
thought you were gonna say it got up on 2 legs and it's like walked
No, but
over
it
to
just
you.
would do like these spasm, like jump things. I was like, no, I'm not into this. I don't like, no, I don't like rabbits. I don't like when they, like, I don't like how long they are. I don't like when they show like a rabbit that they killed for hunting or something, and it's got like
Oh, and
these
I know they're, like,
long,
hanging it. It's so
they're like
sad when
hanging
they
it.
I
There's
don't
like,
like
it's
that, yeah.
sad, but it's also got these long, like, I don't like how long they are. Like, no animal should have legs that long. It's just no, I don't like
Yeah,
rabbits.
see, you know what? And I know this is, like, it's weird, like, cause I mean, I guess there are other animals that I don't have this problem with that are like this, but I think what's creepy to me is that you can't look at them in the eye. Because the eyes are on their side. So it's like, like when you look at
Yeah,
it, like those type, because the way they're so thin and everything, their eyes are really onto the side of their heads like that. Like in this one, like in the movie, this one,
yeah, they're
I feel like you could
freaky.
not look at this eye unless you're on one side. And I'm like, so I don't know what the heck
And
it's
their
looking
eyes are
at. It
always
could see me.
weird. Like, well, goat eyes are
Yeah.
weird too. Goat has like those little hourglass weird eyes,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
But I think,
I've never found goats scary though.
did you do the goat yoga you saw? You were supposed to go
No,
report
we
back
had
to
goat
us.
yoga at our local brewery. I kind of wanted to go, but my
Well, we
dad's
did
had
do a
goats.
goat themed mountain coaster in
Yeah, we did
Pigeon
do a, yeah,
Forge.
goats on the roof mountain coaster.
Goats on the
Check it
roof,
out.
yeah.
But
There really are
my
goats on
dad
the roof.
my dad has owned goats before. I'm not scared of them in terms of like, oh, I think they're creepy. The only way I'd be scared of them is I wouldn't get in a pen with one because those things can butt you. Like my
Oh
dad had
yeah.
a really mean goat. He would butt the hell out of you. And he was like, I wouldn't go near that goat. That thing scared me from like a danger standpoint, like sort of like Black Phillip. But
Yeah.
I didn't find them like rabbit. I would avoid just out of a creep factor. Like I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to go near it.
Yeah, no, I'm
And
I'm with you on this one. I would definitely say that at least that for this film versus this hair in this film was creepy as hell. Especially when you see how it basically comes into the plot point, which adds an extra creepiness to it.
yes,
And
it
then what it
does.
does at the near the very end, which is definitely,
It's
as Tim
a
said, was not on our bingo card. But you'll see that when you watch it.
yeah,
But
yeah,
but
definitely
yeah, no, to me, Black
rabbit's
Phillip,
creepy.
I feel like is kind of cool. He's like,
Black Phillip's awesome, yeah. Which
yeah,
he
I
was
mean,
an
like everyone
actual
likes
mean
Black
goat.
Phillip.
Like if you read the trivia and stuff, he was actually a very
Yeah,
mean goat.
but he wasn't mean to
But
us. We didn't see him that way.
no, and I kind of like think mean goats are kind of badass because they're like, screw
Yeah,
you, you're keep me in a
like
fence. I'll
I
show you.
know. I'll teach you. It's
But the rabbits are just creepy by their very existence. Their scrawny, long existence. I don't like it. Don't like it. Don't care about Easter Bunny. No, none of that. No.
I feel like you're doing like the Michael Scott. Like, nope, not.
Nope.
I don't like
Nope.
that. Nope.
Nope. Don't like that. Nope.
And then,
Nothing with
and then
rabbits.
who else did that? Tracy Morgan did that. Remember? Nope,
Yeah.
nope, nope. Not.
Yeah.
I don't like that. That one too.
We
Yeah,
saw
the
rabbit. They had a rabbit adoption at our pet store, and the kids wanted to go one time. And it was those freaking giant rabbits that are not supposed to be that big that were like look like a dog-sized rabbit, and they're white and they just have pink eyes, and they were so
Mm.
ugly and disgusting. I don't know. And the
See,
kids,
I
oh, look at the cute
I know.
bunny. I'm
I
like,
see. I don't
there's
mind the
nothing cute
bunnies,
about
like you said earlier, like the little ones. I think, but the hares are something different, right? A hare is a specific
it's like a
style, right?
wild rabbit. Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
wild,
So, like,
yeah.
yeah, the hares are what scare me. Like but little bunnies, I can deal with. Like, I'm definitely
Uh,
not. I've
yeah,
held
like I
them.
said, I will make an exception for like little yard bunnies, like little brown, like the
Oh,
little
those
brownish
tiny ones. We used to
gray.
have them live all the time. They're so cute. I
Those are
love
fine.
those.
I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about like either the white albino giant, too big to be a rabbits,
Too big.
the the long-legged wild jackrabbit thing that is apparently lives in New Zealand or wherever the heck this movie was made. I don't know.
Yeah,
Those I don't like.
yeah, I would not be. And the fact that it like where they keep it and all the things. Yeah, I'd be freaked out. I would
Thought
never.
about
I would
that.
have to move. But
Would you say this couple was having a bad hair day?
indeed. Although they didn't seem to have the problem with it like as we did. But
Oh,
yeah.
all right. So again, guys, please leave us a review. If you leave us a review and let us know about it, we will kill you on our podcast
Yes, in the
in
nicest, coolest way possible,
the
though.
coolest way possible. So yeah, send in your reviews and let us know about them. And we will see you back here next week.
Yeah.